the attempt is to talk about something that's very emotional in a very dispassionate way. One militates against the other, doesn't it? And yet, with the help of our distinguished panel tonight, that's what we intend to attempt to do, to talk about some of the issues raised by the film in a dispassionate way. One of the studies that I looked at to prepare for this was a study done recently of the coverage of the reaction to the official report about 9/11 in the media in 8 different countries around the world: Britain, Canada, Denmark, France, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, and Russia. And one of the distressing aspects of the response, the official response, if you will, to the questioning of the official report is to talk about conspiracy theorists, which strikes me as not only an ad hominem attack, but it also suggests that anybody who questions what the government says is a nut. That's pretty dangerous, don't you think? And this study looked at what the media and how the media framed it in these different countries, and as time went on, increasingly they stopped talking about the lunatic fringe, they stopped talking about conspiracy theorists, and they start to talk about dedicated scientists looking for truth and interested in finding out what did happen, even if we don't like the answer, even if it may not reflect very well on us or on the government that we've elected. Still, we want to know. So in the spirit of that, I'm going to introduce our panel. And it's a diverse panel because, again, it's in the spirit of the idea that this is not about conspiracy theories, this is about trying to find answers to questions we all have, we'd all like to have some kind of answer to, but whether we'll ever get one, that's another issue, isn't it? To my left, Mr. Tom Junod. He's a journalist from Esquire magazine, an award-winning American journalist and writer for Esquire magazine, known for his controversial profiles of Steve Jobs, imagine that, and other celebrities. He also wrote a story called The Falling Man, about the unidentified person, a man, caught in the photograph, apparently having jumped from the tower on 9/11. And Mr. Junod will be talking about that later, in terms of how one comes to terms with our collective emotional response to what happened on 9/11. The Falling Man is the story of Mr. Junod's search for the identity of the worker who fell to his death, as I say, from the North Tower. Theologian Mark D. Thompson said, perhaps the most powerful image of despair at the beginning of the 21st century is not found in art or literature or even popular music. It's found in a single photograph. Mr. Junod won the James Beard Award for his Esquire essay, My Mum Couldn't Cook, and the author of a new cookbook, not surprisingly, called Eat Like a Man. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tom Junod. Next to my left is Dr. David Johnson, Professor Emeritus of Planning from UTK. Dr. Johnson is Professor Emeritus of Planning at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. He received a master's degree in Architecture and City Planning from Yale University and a doctorate in Regional Planning from Cornell University. He was a Fulbright Scholar in India, Thailand, the Soviet Union and Cyprus. He currently researches the development of the New York metropolitan region and scientific issues related to 9/11. He is the author of Planning the Great Metropolis. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. David Johnson. To my right is Mr. Jim Hall. the former director of the National Transportation Safety Board. Mr. Hall is an international expert on crisis management and government relations. He served in Washington and Tennessee in several staff positions before being appointed by President Bill Clinton in 1993 to serve on the National Transportation Safety Board, where he became chair from 1994 to 2001, just before 9/11. He fostered landmark safety studies on airlines, airline crashes, railways, buses and automobiles, and also served on the National Academy of Engineering Committee on Combating Terrorism. His firm, Hall & Associates LLC, consults with governments, non-profits and corporate clients on security issues. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jim Hall. Dr. Edwin Foster, Professor Emeritus of Civil Engineering from UTC. Dr. Foster is Professor Emeritus of Civil Engineering at the University of Tennessee here in Chattanooga. He received his doctorate in engineering from Vanderbilt, gave distinguished service on the UTC engineering faculty for several decades, and directed the engineering graduate program from 2002 until 2006. He also has experience in analysis of material structure failures in aerospace industry and highway accidents. He is listed in Who's Who in Engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Edwin Foster.